hey there. What you're about to watch is one of 30 parenting online classes. Now, before you click off, let me just say that is 30 3 to 5 minute helpful hints and tip videos to help us in working with and raising tweens and teenagers. We know that raising young people can be a ton of fun, but it can also present itself some challenges. And so to help us, we put together some of these videos for you. We hope that you'll enjoy them and take the time to embrace some of the principles, use some of the tips that we bring up, and more than anything, enjoy raising your young person. Today we're going to be talking about the principle of empathy. And I have with me a specialist from Ministry to Parents. She deals with mediating conversations between young people and parents all of the time. And I think she has some great insights for us. And before we go there, I want to introduce to you the scriptural backing that gives us this principle of empathy. More than anything, I think empathy comes from a desire to love and love people well. And in the book of John, chapter 13, verse 35, Jesus encourages his disciples by saying it is by this one thing, that all people will know that you are my disciples, that you know me. And it is this principle of love, how we love one another. And like I said, one of the greatest ways that we can express love is by the way we show empathy. Now, let me just say, empathy is not something natural for young people. And quite frankly, it's even difficult for us as adults. Here's your helpful tip for today.
My kids love it when my husband and I tell them stories of when we were children. Their current favorite is a story about how my husband passed gas on a wooden pew in church. His mother was mortified. My kids love this, and not just because it's about being flagellant. That's a given for sure. They love it because stories about our lives as children give them insight into us. This is intimacy. Intimacy can also be defined as into-me-see. I love my parents deeply and learned so much from them, but I often feel as if I never knew them when I was a child. If you were to ask my 9-year-old self what my mother's favorite color was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. Kids are naturally narcissistic. They are completely centered on themselves and the things that they intentionally interact with. It is hard for children of a certain age to look outside of themselves, to focus on other. When we share stories about ourselves with them that interest them, we allow them to truly see outside of themselves and into us. This is especially important when modeling empathy. Empathy is the ability to see outside yourself and understand how a certain situation might affect someone else. Empathy is an important skill that teaches children to be compassionate and caring, and not children who bully other kids. Empathy teaches our children to love others as Christ loves us. Love is the model. How do we know how to love? We see it modeled in the way Christ has loved us. This is especially true when disciplining our children. When our child fails, we have an opportunity to share with them our own failures and how we identify with their feelings. This helps them not feel alone in their failure and their anger, and discussing it with you will combat their feelings of shame. When you are vulnerable and transparent with your children about your life, they feel connected to you, close to you. They know that they can talk to you about anything because you have gone through the same things yourself. Transparency and vulnerability may look different depending on the ages of your children. By all means, please don't share deep, personal things with children who are not emotionally old enough to process that information. But there are things about you that your children would benefit greatly knowing. Start with experiences you had when you were their age that they may not know about. Tell them about thoughts and feelings you had at their age. Tell them about what made you proud of yourself, what you liked about yourself, what made you sad, fearful, angry, or scared. Sharing these things with them lets them know they are not alone. Those feelings are normal. Talking to your kids at any age about your feelings and identifying with their feelings even when they've made a poor choice in regards to their actions, promotes an empathy that will combat feelings of shame and encourage connection with you. Jesus did this for us in the flesh when he was tempted with every temptation known to man. He wanted us to know that he understood us fully and how human we are and how easy it is to struggle with sin. He overcame our sin and shame and made a way to connect with us. He's the perfect model of empathy, and he's empowered us as his children with empathy to defeat shame in our lives and the lives of our children.